Oh, hey, welcome back, fellow shop rats. It's supposed to be a Talk About It Tuesday, and it is a Tuesday, but I thought today, yes, we're going to talk, but I'm also going to work on a few things around the shop here that I've wanted to get done, and we're going to talk about shop improvements rather than shop organization. Again, it's about spending the day here in the shop with me, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car's Shop. Those of you that have been around the channel for a while have noticed that I've been putting cabinet doors on a lot of the benches and shelves and things. I've got a huge stack of this stuff in the back room that I got from my brother-in-law when we gutted his kitchen. And I've been intending to get these on here for months. And I've just been slowly chipping away at it as I'm working on other things or between things. And today I wanted to get this one done, and we may work on the welding bench. We'll see. But I'm just trying to figure out how I want to install these on here. I think I got an idea of what I want to do, but we got to kind of figure that out. So today, because it is a talk, and I always talk anyway, because apparently I like to talk from what people say. It's not that I really like to talk, it's just I have things I want to say. But today we're going to work on this and get this on here and just talk about, it goes along with our organizational stuff, but this is more about just improvements that we can do in the shop, little bites, little things that we can do. So I need to, this is a little wide, but before we get too carried away here, I need to figure out how I'm going to attach these doors. I thought about putting a wood frame around and screwing it. Technically, I could probably just put some screws into the angle iron just by drilling holes. I got to see what I got for screws. So let me go dig in my drawers and see what I got back here, and then we'll come back and make a decision on what we're doing here. I found some taper-head wood screws that I might be able to work in here, but I'm going to have to drill holes. The other thing we're going to have to do is take one or both of these doors over to the wood shop and thin them down so that they'll fit where they need to. We've got to take off, about a 1/4 inch, a little bit less. I could take 1/8 off of each, but quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to muck with it. I think we're just going to just take just a shave off one edge and call it good. So anyway, I want to get this door attached first, so I got to go up to the house to the charging station and get my batteries for my screw gun and drill some holes, and I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, we drilled some holes. I know they're not exactly the right screws, but if they do the job, then nothing else matters, right? Ah, shit, that one broke. I need to pop those holes a little bigger. Hold on. I had gone one size below 1/8, and I should have gone 1/8. These screws are really cheap, and so I sheared it off, but I re-drilled it and put a screw in there, and it's good. So let me grab one more screw. The nice thing is I can pick up some sheet metal screws or metal screws or whatever and use those if I need to, but diesel screws are holding for now. So yeah, they're a little bit not the best, but yeah, we'll figure it out. I may just put some machine screws and nuts on there, but for now these will work. So I need to go up to the wood shop and cut about 1/4 inch off of that door. So I'll take you guys up there. I don't think you've ever been in the wood shop before. It's a fairly new thing around here, so let's just hold this up so I can mark. Yeah. I'm not in the best of moods today. I'm really tired, and that's why I'm not working on the project or filming for a weekend episode. I thought, well, it's a Talk About It Tuesday. These are kind of random, so let's just be randomly random. All right, that's what I got to cut off of that. So we'll take that up to the wood shop. I also got to find I've got some magnets around somewhere that we can put on there that'll help hold that shut. But for now, let's get the door trimmed off. I don't care if they're not exactly even. I could take a little off each door. Who cares? It's just for the shop. So let's take it up to the wood shop and we'll go. So here we are in the woodworking shop. We've got a radial arm saw, table saw, the lathe you've seen before because Mark came and helped me get that set up. We got our band saw. There's more to be done in here, but I just need to get the table saw out today and cut that much off of that door. I know it's going to look weird. I don't care. It's for the shop. This is just cheap, simple, and dirty. Get it done. So let's drag the table saw out and we'll make a slice off of that and we'll go from there. So the nice thing about these, my brother-in-law also gave me these carts that everything goes on. So that makes it really nice for just pulling stuff out to work with and so forth. So that's cool. So much crap laying all over here, but that's normal. I gotta decide how I'm gonna lay these out. Probably like this makes the most sense. It's a long rip. I probably should take these hinges off the door. I don't really want to do it without some kind of a guide, but on the other hand, it is so long that it's going to be hard to use the guide anyway, so I think we'll just wing it. I suppose I could put the guide on this side, which isn't recommended. I can't because that other piece is in the way back there. So, okay, let's get this blade up in place and go from there. Okay. What you about here for? Okay, and that should get us. Gotta put the brakes on here so we're not rolling all over the place. Okay, there we go. And what's holding us up here? Not much. All right, we're gonna get that cut. I'll be right back. Crooked is a crooked thing. Perfect. It's okay. It's for the shop. It ain't got to be perfect. It's just got to be done. So, all right, let's go see how it fits. Better put this back first, though. Oh, yes. Also better take the brakes off if I want to roll it around. There we go. All right, let's drill some holes, see what we can get done here. So part of the thought here is, as I've been looking at the videos through fresh eyes, and I don't mind having open cabinets and being able to see in and see everything. I'm a very visual person. But I want to step my game up in the visual appeal here on the channel, and I realized that one way to do that is to simply use these doors, which I've had for a while, and just cover everything up like this. It doesn't make it any really harder for me. I know where stuff's at. So let me get some screws, we'll get those in there, and then we'll be back. So one issue I've got now is the doors are going, oh, that one's not. Okay, that one's good. Oops, why did they do that? Oh, okay, because that one was just squeezed a little. So this one stays nice, and this one doesn't, and I'm not sure why. So I'm going to get some better screws. I know I have some random sheet metal screws around here that we can probably put in there that will possibly help us. And I want to see what we got to do to be able to get that to shut. Like I said, my gap isn't great, but I don't care. It's just for the shop. So, but yeah, this one stays closed nicely, so that's cool. Need some better screws in that too. If we can get 4 screws, for now. That'll be good, but these do the job anyway, and I don't think this is good enough that my magnet that I have is going to hold it, so that's going to be a problem. All right, that's pretty good. I may just make a little clip here. A magnet's not going to hold that. The bench it's got a little bit of a warp to it. I tried hammering it around a little bit, but I think this piece of angle here is just a little bit. I suppose another option I could do is go in here and just shave some off of this, but I think for now the easiest thing to do is going to be to just make a little quick connect clip like that that'll just go there and hole over there. Easy enough to just take a little piece of metal and do that to hold that cabinet door shut. Easy enough to pop it off, but for now we'll make a decision, but for now I think that's good. So okay, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that one. That's not really a door, but I do want to put an end on this as well. I think that'll be, well, do I or not? I don't know. I got to think about that a little bit. I mentioned a couple episodes ago, partly what got me started down this path was I was welding here. There was no doors on this cabinet, and my buffer, my polisher for polishing metal, was in there, and all of a sudden I smelled something smoldering, and sparks had gone down in there and started smoldering on that. And I thought, you know, I've got these doors, let's throw them on there. I put those on there and I liked it, so I put this one on, and then I added this, which really isn't a door yet. I need to make that into a door. And then I put the ones back there, and I thought, well, let's put some here. And so I just like the feel of that as far as what it looks like on camera. Things look less cluttered, and just makes the visual appeal of the shop a little bit more, I don't know the word, less chaotic, more peaceful. You're not distracted by a lot of that stuff. For me personally, like I said, it doesn't really bother me, but thinking about where I want to go with the YouTube channel, it makes a lot of sense. And so I'd like you to think about that for yourself. We've talked about, you know, organizational stuff. We've talked about, you know, visual macro, visual micro. We've talked about hidden macro, hidden micro. We've talked about TAS and bugs. This is for me, because everything in here is just kind of haphazard, this style would be a hidden macro, because everything inside of these cabinets is not terribly organized. It's just all thrown in there, but it's hidden. The thing that I'm also learning more by experience than anything, if everything is visible, then nothing is visible, right? So there's a point at which putting stuff behind a closed door does make the things that actually are visible easier to find. Now, I know just from sheer habit that the top of this is all my electric, battery operated and corded tools. Down below is all the pneumatic stuff. I know that in here is all my metalworking stuff for the MKS UTM system that we built. MKS UTM system, yeah, UTMS, yes. Okay, anyway, I was making sure I wasn't being redundant, because I hate to repeat myself redundantly. I actually found a clip that I think is maybe off of an old tape measure or something that works pretty good here. So for now, that's what I'm going to use. I think I'd like to go ahead, just from the visual appeal standpoint, and get this door cut off where it belongs to be and so forth. I don't care if it hinges, honestly. I can get at everything there. Eventually it'll hinge. I suppose I could put a piece of wood on the end of the bench, but I think just getting it to its proper, you know, so it lines up with the rest would be nice. So maybe we'll do that next. But here's my point. I've got a back room full of stuff just laying around that needs to be dealt with. A lot of it needs to go upstairs. Remember that great big boom that we made back in the fall? That needs to be put upstairs so we can put all of those cabinets up there that Chris brought. But all of these doors and everything have been laying back there also. And getting this just put in places where it belongs is a huge step forward in being able to just deal with some of that little bits of clutter that are kicking around. So I'd like you to think about your own workspace, whether it's your shop or your basement, or if you have a woodworking shop or whatever. A lot of y'all are really good at organization. A lot of us aren't. we've talked about that when my buddy Mark was here, was earlier on, he would come in and help me get things organized, but I could never maintain it because it was in his style, not mine. The neat thing is he gets all of this, and when he comes, if we do organization together, he's looking at things through the way I organize, through my organizational style, which is either a macro hidden or macro visual, and not like him, who's a micro hidden for the most part. He's more of a Bugs, I'm more of a Taz. But we understand that about each other, so it makes us able to work together a lot more efficient. Plus, there's no pretenses with he and I. There's no egos don't clash and stuff like that. We just get along. We're really good friends. So Chris is a lot like me. So, you know, we don't necessarily organize much together, but when we work together, we think alike. So if he's working on something, I'll be there working with him, and I'm handing him the tool just as he's saying, hey, can you get me? Or my mind is going on what his mind is going, and we can riff ideas on how to build or make or whatever we're doing. We both come from similar engineering backgrounds. He still works in it, of course. I haven't for 25 years, but the minds are still very similar. So each of us are different. My buddy Matt, he's a lot more detail-oriented than I am, but we've worked together for a long time. Again, no pretenses, no egos clashing, stuff like that. But I'm trying to do what I can to just improve things around here. One thing I do know, I'm going to be doing a valve job here soon, so I need to get all the valve grinding equipment out. So cleaning off that back part of the bench and making that more functional. Plus, I see, because the valve grinder's been sitting there for almost 2 years, the top of the bench is warped. So we need to get that taken care of as well. But it's little things like that, that as I've been editing videos and doing videos on the channel, I'm seeing things through different eyes and seeing, okay, how can I improve this to make this experience better for you guys? But I don't want it to become unobtainium for a lot of you. I want to share the process and the journey with you as well, partly because you see my growth, but it can also inspire you to look at your spaces differently. Again, this is an area that's bugged me. So, you know, maybe a hint or a suggestion. And of course, I'm in front of camera, not just for this YouTube channel, but for my work. I'm for the band. We have a homestead channel. I'm in front of a camera just tons and tons every week. But it was through watching the video as I was editing it and just looking at it through fresh eyes that I realized there's a lot of things I could do to improve the situation that were very simple. And maybe that's a hint for you, that walk around with a video camera slowly. Don't be doing this crap and make yourself seasick. Just very slowly walk around with a video camera. And if you can, like, project that or get that on a large screen computer or a TV and just look at it and say, okay, I don't know anything about this place. What does this visually look like with fresh eyes? It's amazing how asking those questions and you go, oh, geez, I could just change this and this and this and make things significantly improved. I'm going to work on this. I'm not going to bother sharing that with you, but I want to get my valve grinder out and more usable because I want to get those 340 heads done. I want to get back on this motor here soon, and just because I want to do something different. But yeah, let me get this, and then I want to get work on getting this, because it was through the video that I noticed that this was warping because of the weight of the valve grinder here. Still need to deal with more stuff here, but that area back there is all good now. I picked the heads up from here. I put them back on the bench. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, part of what's going on is I'm just really facing some big challenges in other parts of my life, and I just don't have the headspace to feel like diving into working on some of the stuff that needs to be done right now. So, yeah, it's meeting yourself where you're at is always so important, and I feel like getting some order in some areas here that have been pretty chaotic makes a difference. I feel like I'm accomplishing something when there's so many other areas of life I feel like I'm accomplishing nothing. So it's good progress, and yeah, let me take you back and show you what we got. Yeah, okay, obviously we put the doors on here. I got the heads up off the floor down here now, so that's even more. I'll get those intakes dealt with. One of those is going to go on scoops. I want to get it sandblasted and clear coated, and then we'll just do we'll do that in the spring. I think it's the Holly, which I think is the blue one. I'm not sure. Anyway, one of those is a Holly. That's an Edelbrock, so it's the Holly right there. Yep. So that one's the one that's going to get sandblasted up and clear coated, and then put on scoops this spring, so we can get rid of that one that's flaky paint and orange and blue and that kind of stuff. I got to deal with stuff on top of here at some point. I think I'm going to do myself a favor once I get this top attached. I'm going to put a solid top on there so it doesn't keep collapsing. But here's the point. I got a carburetor still apart back here. These are the brackets for the air conditioner for scoops that I pulled out of a bin that I found that I had. The heads are here, so we're ready to go. I need to dig out my... What's that intake? Anyway, I need to dig out my valve seat grinding stuff and see what I'm going to need to do the seats on those heads. But obviously we're going to have to disassemble these heads. So that will be coming in the next month or so probably. What's this intake? No clue. Oh, that's another Holly. So maybe that's the one we're gonna clean up. I don't know. One of them anyway. Okay, that's a non-EGR Holly intake. That's an EGR style Holly intake. So that's probably the one I'll use on scoops because I don't need anything special for performance on that car. So we can just put a block off plate on that and call it good. But one of these is exactly like the one that's on there. So we're going to just swap them. I still feel like for visual reasons, I want to put a side on that. So I'm going to get that done real quick and we'll be back. We'll have more to talk about. I like that a whole lot better. Cool. Okay, one thing I need to do at some point is get a different stand for that press. It's not in a good location, but for now, it'll have to work. Probably bolting it down onto that bench would help. But I'd like to get it on an independent freestand, probably about right at the end of this bench. So we'll figure that out at some point. It's not a high priority, but it's progress. So I got to dump my tool bin. I had a ton of tools on the bench back there, and I just staged them there for now. And I keep looking at my spot welder down here on the floor, thinking I really need to get that in my setup to use in my universal tool mounting system. That would be nice to do, but not a high priority. I have a couple of those actually. Anyway, you gotta love filming 5 minutes worth of video and finding out the camera wasn't running. All right, so the point of today's episode is not so much shop organization, but shop improvement. Moving forward on things that you have purchased. I've got tons more stuff around here that I've either mostly picked up, very little that I've purchased, but tons of stuff around here to be done to the shop, for the shop, that have nothing to do with the projects. I'm in a crap headspace. I'm exhausted. I've been on the road a lot this week. I don't want to get into all that. And I knew that coming out here and diving into melting metal and cutting metal to put the trunk floor in, or diving into the rear wheel well on the passenger side that needs to be cleaned up like we did the driver's side. We've done the driver's side front on the outside. We have to do the outside of this one. Diving into any of that stuff today, not in my headspace. That is just more chaos. I'm going to get filthy from head to toe. Not going to meet myself where I'm at all. So if it came down to that's what I have to do, I wouldn't be out here today. But I came out here and I thought, what can I do that's going to set me up for success further down the road? That's so important, to set yourself up for success further down the road when you're not in the headspace to be working on the projects themselves and just dealing with the piles of hoo-ha that I have kicking around in the back that we've been tripping over for months. Every bit of that makes a difference, because if your working environment is usable, it doesn't have to be high holy, perfectly organized. It has to be functional. If you set yourself up for success when it comes time to work on the projects, you're more likely to do that. Does what we did in this area back here have anything to do with the wheel wells in the trunk floor or even the back window frame on the Stitches Challenger? No. But we did set ourselves up for success to get the heads done for this 340 for the Forsyth Duster, because that's our secondary project right now. The hood's going to be coming back off of that real soon, and we're going to be finishing up that fabrication on that hood. Then we're going to get the rust treatment done properly that I just did a ham and egg on real quick. And we're going to move forward on finishing that hood completely. So that part of that project is done. We can set that aside, and then we can get on that inner rocker panel. If today I had the energy and the enthusiasm to be working on the car, doing what I did today, wouldn't have happened. If I had to, if somebody said, you can't work on a project today, you have to go out and clean the shop, and that's not where my head is, that ain't going to happen. I sit in the house and watch TV or do something else. That's just the way I'm wired. And at, over 58 years old, I've come to accept that about myself. In the past, we've talked about this, but in the past, we've had people come in here bouncing around, jumping around with boots and spurs and whips, trying to tell me how I should live. You know what? I'm friggin' old. I know myself, and I know how to meet myself where I'm at. I don't care how anybody else chooses to live. I understand all their styles and all that stuff. But when somebody comes at me or somebody else trying to dictate what they need to be doing, this is not the place. Go take a fast jump at yourself. I try to be pretty transparent in my own struggles, in the way things are. I don't hide stuff. That doesn't mean that you get full access to all of me, because not even anywhere close to that as far as the big picture of my life. But as far as when it comes to working in the shop and the things I'm battling and the things I'm struggling with and so forth, that's where it's at. So today it was about shop improvement. It was about visual appeal. It was about setting ourselves up for success for the next bite on the projects that we have going on. And I appreciate you sticking around. I know it's not always the sexiest stuff in the world, but it's important stuff. And if all I do is share just the slamming on the projects, it's going to, I feel, I could be completely wrong, but I feel it's setting people up for failure because they don't understand all the other stuff that goes along with it, that it takes to get you in that place to get that stuff done. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. We'll catch you on the next one. As always, like, share, subscribe, and the most important thing around here, rah!